Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're going to build a rock-solid, structured understanding of India's national identity directly from the source material. If you're prepping for competitive exams, or honestly, if you just want a deeper grasp of history, these foundational symbols are absolutely crucial. But beware, there are quite a few traps and myths along the way. So let's get our facts straight. To make things easy, we're breaking down this massive syllabus into bite-sized chapters. We'll start with foundational symbols, move on to the sounds of India, then explore India's natural heritage, and finally wrap up with calendars and national days.
All right, moving into our first section, foundational symbols, focusing on the flag and the emblem.
Let me ask you a quick question. What do the 24 spokes on the Ashoka Chakra, right in the center of the Indian flag, actually represent? I'll give you a second to think about it, because state civil service exams, especially ones like the TNPSC in Tamil Nadu, love, and I mean literally love, to set a classic trap right here.
So, did you guess 24 hours in a day? Well, if you did, you've totally fallen into the trap. Consider this myth officially busted. Those 24 spokes actually represent the Dharma Chakra, or the Wheel of Law, taken directly from the Sarnath lion capital of Ashoka. This perfectly highlights the difference between just rote memorization and real deep understanding. It signifies that progress comes through continuous motion. Basically, a nation has to keep moving forward, not stand still.
A really great way to lock this in your brain is the SWAG 24 memory trick. Just think saffron, white, green, Ashoka Chakra, 24 spokes, SWAG 24. It beautifully marries the designer Pingali Venkaya's vision from the freedom struggle with these ancient 2,300-year-old roots. Also keep in mind, this flag, which has a strict 3:2 ratio, was officially adopted on July 22, 1947. That's literally just days before independence.
Now, for the national emblem, you can use the seal mnemonic. It perfectly organizes the facts adapted from Ashoka's lion capital. S is for Sarnath. E is for the animals on the abacus: elephant, horse, bull, and lion. A is for Ashoka, and L is for the lions on top. And here's a fun detail. While there are 4 lions on the original sculpture, only 3 are actually visible in our 2D national emblem. Adopted on January 26, 1950, it features the famous motto, Satyameva Jayate. That means truth alone triumphs, and it's sourced straight from the ancient Mundaka Upanishad.
Let's move right along to Section 2, the Sounds of India, where we'll compare the anthem and the national song.
Okay, time for another question. Did Rabindranath Tagore write the national anthem to praise King George V during his 1911 visit to India? This is a massive, very common myth, and we are going to clear it up right now using actual historical facts.
The answer is absolutely not. No way. Looking at the facts completely separates these two musical masterpieces. Tagore himself clarified that his anthem praised Bhagya Vidhata, the dispenser of India's destiny, meaning India itself, not some British king. So Tagore wrote the anthem Jana Gana Mana, while Bankim Chandra Chatterjee wrote the national song Vande Mataram back in 1882 in his novel Anandamath. Interestingly enough, Tagore was actually the first person to publicly sing the national song in 1896. Now notice this, both were officially adopted on January 24, 1950, but only the first stanza of the anthem and only the first 2 verses of the song were adopted. Why? To ensure they remained inclusive for absolutely everyone.
Okay, let's dive into Section 3, India's natural heritage, taking a little trip to Pulivanam. Just imagine stepping into a vibrant, interconnected ecosystem, like a wild forest. As students in our source material discovered alongside their forest officer, India's natural symbols, like the majestic tiger or the massive 2,525-kilometer-long Ganga River, they aren't just isolated icons sitting on a page. They are living, breathing parts of the country's incredible environmental landscape. And these symbols, they have incredibly deep cultural roots. Take the famous story of the ancient generous Tamil chieftain Began. Legend says he actually covered a peacock with his own shawl because he thought the poor bird was shivering in the cold. I mean, it's a touching story, and it shows exactly how long these magnificent animals have been deeply cherished in Indian culture. Now, when it comes to the plant life, try to think of these symbols conceptually. Take the lotus, for example. It teaches us to remain untainted and pure, rising completely clean above the muddy waters where it grows. Or the massive banyan tree, which symbolizes immortality and community. For centuries, its ever-growing aerial roots have sheltered traditional village panchayat meetings. And the mango? Well, it's the undisputed king of fruits, cultivated for over 4,000 years. To remember all this, Just use this quick memory trick. Lotus rises pure, banyan lives forever, mango is king. If we map this out chronologically, there's a really fascinating shift. Notice how the tiger actually replaced the lion as the national animal in 1972. Why? Well, because the tiger simply did a better job representing India's widespread wildlife diversity, whereas the lion was pretty localized. This was a bold move, and it was immediately followed by the launch of Project Tiger in 1973 at Jim Corbett National Park. Decades later, skipping ahead to 2008, the Ganga was officially declared the national river.
Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 4, Calendars and National Days.
So while we all use the Gregorian calendar in our daily lives, what's really fascinating here is the Saka calendar. It was adopted on March 22, 1957, but its era actually begins way back in 78 CE. Its very first month is Chaitra. You might be wondering, why do we even have it? Well, the Saka calendar holds official status and is used right alongside the Gregorian one for specific government purposes like All India radio broadcasts and the Gazette of India.
Okay, I know this next part might seem incredibly basic, but you'd be surprised. Confusing these two dates is a classic mistake. Independence Day, on August 15, 1947, strictly marks the day India became free from British rule. Republic Day, on January 26, 1950, is completely different. It commemorates the day the Constitution officially came into force. Never, ever mix these up. They are distinctly different, crucial milestones in the nation-building journey. Before we completely wrap up this explainer, let's untangle one final, very tricky question that trips up countless exam candidates. Looking at Buddhist sacred sites, where did he attain enlightenment versus where did he deliver his first sermon? Let that sink in for a second. All right, here is the answer. As you go forward, keep this exact contrast in your head. Enlightenment happened at Bodh Gaya, under the Bodhi tree. But the first sermon, that happened at Sarnath. Now, why does this specific detail matter so much to us today? Because the national emblem we talked about earlier comes directly from Ashoka's lion capital at Sarnath, the exact site of that first sermon. It just goes to show that true understanding is all about getting those specific details right. And it leaves you with a final thought to chew on. How many other symbols in your everyday life are hiding a 2,000-year-old story that you've just never even noticed?